Hello and welcome to our presentation on adapting your marketing strategy for COVID-19 during these tough times. CBDC PEI is graciously sponsoring us to put together this presentation for you, and we are grateful for their help with sharing it. I'm Maureen Kerr from Cove Consulting. My company was Kerr Consulting for 13 years, and I've been doing internet marketing for 21 years. And I live in Bellevue Cove in Prince Edward Island. And I have a variety of clients kind of across Canada. And I've been friends with Leanne for 20 years, and she's going to help present this today.
Yes, excuse me. I'm Leanne Gallant from ClearPoint Consulting, and I've been doing IT and project management work here on PEI for over 20 years. But over the last few years, I haven't been on the island. We've been living different places at different parts of the year. So I've switched to doing internet marketing. So finally, Maureen and I get to do some work together, and this is our first collaboration doing some internet marketing, online marketing types of things together.
Right, so we're wondering how is COVID-19 affecting your business? Today we're going to talk about a few things, including the importance of adapting your business, new ways of reaching your existing and new audiences, and pivoting to new channels. We have some great examples of how some clients and other people are using new ways of reaching new audiences.
And we're going to see, oh, sorry, Maureen.
Nope.
So the question is, do you need to improve your online presence? So throughout, we'll talk about some internet basics and things that can help you now. And we'll also get into some information about adapting your online advertising if you're doing any. And if you're not, we'll talk about that too.
And then we also have the offer of having a free phone call with us as a follow-up to this. We just want to help people. There's a hashtag going on right now about giving back, and this is our way of doing that.
So
okay,
we're going to start out with the importance of adapting. And the first thing you have to think about is, can you still sell your products or services? And if you can you still sell them through the same channels, or are there different audiences? So we're just going to show you some examples of that right now. First one here is the Path Studio doing their yoga online, and you've probably seen lots of this. Go PEI has been offering all kinds of different exercise classes and things online to keep people going during the COVID-19 and social distancing. And some studios have just basically said to their students, here's how you can access us now, offer their classes. Maybe if they were only offering 2 a week, now they're offering as many as they want, and opening that up for their clients. The next example is, Gail Atkinson is a fisher in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. She's a captain of a lobster boat. And she traditionally was selling through wholesalers, but since that's all kind of dried up right now, she's turned to selling locally, and she's been getting more orders than she can hardly keep up with. So that's a great example of just taking a different audience and selling your stuff to them. Now, I don't know if the rest of you use Airbnb, but I got this from Airbnb, and they have pivoted. I wouldn't say pivoted, actually. In the past number of years, they've been offering adventures as well as accommodation. So right now, there's no accommodation happening. The adventures aren't happening because most of the world is in some sort of a lockdown situation. So they've done a great pivot here by offering these online experiences, and you can see these 5 that we have here. All of them have had 5-star or close to 5-star ratings, and they've been doing really well with it. So that's a great example of how they've managed to take something similar and offer it online.
That's neat. I'd like to just talk about some of the basics, the nuances of social media. I've been using this slide in presentations for almost 10 years when I deliver training on for social media use for business. If you have some expertise, like Leanne just showed in the Airbnb, and you can parlay that online, then that social media you'll do well with, as well as creating community. There's been lots of examples of people coming together in community through the use of social media, especially Facebook. It's really good to have two-way conversations as opposed to just shouting things out on social media. Sharing things that are remarkable, but are worth remarking on. I'll get into that a little bit in further down. Sharing things of value, having dialogue, again, two-way sharing, and being transparent. That really comes across well with social media. You don't want to be caught out being one way and then in real life acting another way. And so those are just some points that, like I said, I've been using this for a long time to try to get across some of the nuances of social media. As well as this slide, the adoption of social media. I like to tell the story of the use of beta video machines. If anybody remembers that, we got a beta video machine. It was very similar to a VHS. It came out first. It was better quality, but the beta company, the makers of the beta video machine, weren't able to cross the chasm. Whereas VHS, if you see here, they jumped over the chasm and they were adopted by the majority of people. A lot of houses, maybe even the majority of houses, had a VHS video machine to watch movies on when we were growing up. And then the late people, some of us were growing up, the late people were late to adopt it, and the very few people at the end probably bought a VHS. And same with Facebook. Like the early people were using it when Mark Zuckerberg created it for universities, and I think around 2006. And then the innovators, the early adopters, started using it. And once it hits early adoption, then it gradually, the early majority uses it. This curve is being used a lot these days. But so a lot of technology, especially social media sites, don't cross the chasm. And I kind of came up with this chart to explain that we as business owners, we have to learn how to cross that chasm with what's going on with COVID and what could happen down the road again. So we want to be prepared, and we want to be like, hopefully it's inevitable. Some businesses aren't going to make it, but the ones that are innovators and who will use technology well will be able to cross that chasm. And
I think sorry, Maureen.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think really when you look at both examples that Maureen gave earlier and this one, it's marketing that makes a difference. The reason beta didn't do better, beta was better quality, but VHS were better marketers. So that can make a big, huge difference in whether you're going to be successful or not and cross that chasm.
True. Thanks. So
we're going to, we're getting on top of each other here. Yeah, you need to look at who your audience is and what is it, obviously everyone's been affected, but how has it affected your audience and are there new people that you can reach right now? A really good example of this is our first example here is Robert McMillan. He's a potter. He just opened a new pottery studio and all of a sudden everything's closed down, so he can't get people in there. And the previous way that he sold his pottery was through retailers, so he didn't sell online. Now that COVID-19 has hit and everybody's staying home, he's in the process of getting his his Facebook page, his website ready. But in the meantime, he's there on Facebook showing these beautiful pictures of his mugs, talking about it, boosting some of his posts, and he's been actually just selling straight from there. People have been contacting him, they want to buy, and he's been very successful with it.
I just want to point out on this that, and we're going to talk about this, how cheap ads are right now on Facebook and social media. This I boosted to people across Canada interested in pottery, for $20, and it ended up going to almost 12,000 people and getting over 500 likes. So it's quite remarkable, the amount of people home right now on social media, and therefore how cheap ads are. I've never seen it in all the years I've been running ads.
Yeah, it is crazy cheap now.
And then I wanted to share this post just because I found it quite interesting for my client, CBDC PEI, and we've been sharing some tips of how to support local businesses. And so I was really pleased when Carly Martin, an acquaintance of mine, shared it in a group called Digital PEI. So in this example, I just wanted to show that, when you produce good content and quality content, then it can get shared, and then maybe you'll pick up some new viewers that way. So we were reaching a new audience thanks to Carly sharing, but she appreciated the information. For trying to find new audiences, if you can think of it this way, the Longtail Theory, which is like the business model that Amazon is based on, iTunes. It's how people share their products and services online with keywords and tagging them, and finding niche markets. So if you are able to use the internet to search with search terms for your product or your service, the longer the better, the longer the search term, because the more niche the better, as opposed to a really broad description, like just skincare, for example, or you can really refine it down, skincare for rosacea, just as one example.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're trying to sell to everyone, no one's going to notice because they're not going to think you're speaking to them. But if you get very specific and very niche, then the people that you're talking to notice that. They're like, oh, that's me. And then they'll pay more attention.
Yeah, and at the end of the long tail are often really passionate groups of people that are wanting to engage with that product or service.
There's an example here that Renee from Jackson Naturals has done. This is getting niche. She's making lip balm, which everybody uses lip balm, but she started to get into some really interesting flavors like wine flavor and coffee flavor. So now she can market those to specific niches of people that are interested in wine or that are, coffee aficionados. So this is a screenshot of an ad that I did, and it didn't do well. And one of the reasons why it didn't do well is because it was too broad. So if you can see here, it reached almost 4,500 people, but it only got 45 links, so clicks. So when we're doing ads, Leanne and I both try to get at least 10% engagement or click rate. And so this isn't that. So I stopped the ad, and I had to redo some targeting with the audiences. Had to dig into that niche.
And I will. So I think we were talking about like ads are cheap right now, and it's because people are staying home. But it's a great time to do a lot of research and networking.
You kind of have a captive audience right now because everybody's at home.
Yeah. This one was interesting. I did for a solar company, and it wasn't even. It didn't direct anybody to, like, we weren't trying to sell anything at this point, but we wanted to share good information. So there was a really cool article about some solar panels being made, and we shared it, and it reached over 6,000 people, and it was only 3 cents per engagement. And I forget how many likes it got, but it was really great.
Yeah, I've never seen 3 cents. That's low. So we want to look at the channels that you're using. I mean, there are traditional channels where you can advertise and reach out to people, newspapers, radio, TV, things like that. But there's a lot of opportunity with online because you can, again, get to those niches and you can get to the people that you want to talk to. So in addition, we've been talking a bit about Facebook, but there's Google. You should definitely make sure you claim your Google listing if you have an actual physical location. You can get into Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or even just using videos on some of those different platforms. So Maureen's going to talk about Quintessence and how they've used some of these different channels.
Yeah, Quintessence is located in Summerside, and they're doing a booming business of skincare, and they sell to spas and estheticians. And so I was working on a website for them before this all happened, and to kind of host their training materials so that when they go somewhere to train a group of people, people can download the training material. But now with COVID, they have pivoted to wanting to sell their training online. So the videos of how they use their products for facials and treatments and that kind of thing. They actually had videos already done before, so now they're just having to edit them, and then they're going to be offered on this website for a fee. So they're pivoting here to using videos and their website and e-commerce. They're also using their social media channels, talking about doing facials at home and what's your routine. And it's really neat on Instagram because there is a hashtag for Quintessence, and people are using it and tagging their own routines and sharing it online. It's really neat. And then again, doing an ad with these is going quite far. And I mean, I didn't get a lot of engagement on that, but it went to over 11,000 people. And so their new website is coming out, and it's going to be e-commerce, and they're going to be selling it through their Shopify website. So their Instagram is going to be used for going directly to sell onto their website. The Instagram is also being used for promoting at-home skincare. And so they have a spa in the box. And so they're using kind of a theme of, having empathy for people and understanding that they're at home, but you still want your spa day. Here's a way to do it at home. And hashtag stay at home, hashtag Quintessence home facial. So basically like a spa in the box and sending it to people. And we're back to Robert McMillan. He's, like we were talking about, he's doing really well with social media and showcasing his pottery, which are basically like pieces of art, I think. And so he was lucky too. We were working on an e-commerce site before this all happened. And so he wants to, and he is pivoting from selling to wholesalers to retail, straight to customers, B2C. And so we're using WordPress and WooCommerce in this case to sell his pottery. And it's the same thing, like on Instagram, you'll be able to connect it so that people can buy it right from Instagram. And so that's a new thing for him, because otherwise he hadn't been using his website for this or his social media to actually sell his own products, more so as a marketing tool.
Yeah, and I think this leads right into the next slide about improving your online presence. Go the wrong direction there? Yeah, improving your online presence. Yeah, Robert's basically getting into the social media and getting into selling directly to consumers rather than selling through retailers. But he's really upped his game here. So you want to look now at your online presence. Have you got a website? Most people have a website, but does your website look like it was made in the 90s? This would be a good time to fix it up. Do you have an email list? An email list is probably the most cost-effective way to reach your clients. So it's really important to build an email list. because then you can basically send out your offers and send out information to them at any time. You don't want to spam them, but as long as you're providing value, they're usually happy to get your emails. There's also Facebook and Instagram and advertising. So there are lots of ways for you to be online and reaching the people that are there right now. So if we look at Robert's slide here, in upping his game and getting into all these things, he got a professional photographer to come in and take all the photos so that his pottery, which as Maureen said, they're pieces of art, they look really nice. They're beautiful in these photos. So that's part of upping his game. What's the next one here?
Oh, and I just wanted to point out that the photos there were by Lisa Enman, who also does, we hired her to also do a Google 360 tour of Robert's studio. She's one of the only photographers in Atlantic, Canada that offers that, a Google certified 360 tour. And so we were able to upload that to his Google listing.
Actually, this would be a perfect time to get that done because there's nobody in your shop right now. So
I agree.
If you need that, check back with Maureen. She can link you up. Then the Securement Family Farm has started doing more things online right now and getting into their social media and email. They have a new process for ordering, a new location for pickup. So they're sharing this all online, and they're really all online, and they're really trying to take advantage of, I shouldn't say take advantage of the situation, but take advantage of the online access to people to help during this situation.
They have a very good email list as well. So not only do they share on social media, they're able to reach out to us, their customers, like I am, through email. So that's great because sometimes not all people are on social media, obviously.
Yeah, I think here that we were just going to show how Renee's kind of upped her game. Maybe Maureen, you can tell what she's done lately with her branding and stuff.
Yeah, so Renee is in Wellington, PEI, and she made her own Shopify website, and she's done a great job. And luckily, before this all happened, she was working on rebranding. So she got a new logo and is going to be working on her labels and that kind of thing. But I don't think she paid anything for her Shopify website. It was the free version. And so that's a really great way, if you only have a few products anyway, is to use Shopify. It's very user friendly.
Yeah, and then as she grows and has more products, I think they have different levels of packages for different people.
Yeah, and with all these, maybe right now I just wanted to put a plug in for CBBC and some of their funding programs. They are great to work with businesses throughout Atlantic Canada, but here in PEI, there's different funding, and it's definitely worth you getting in touch with them to help. So a lot of my clients anyway were kind of wondering how to use messaging and marketing right now, and they weren't feeling great about it. And so one of the best ways to go about marketing right now is to use empathy and compassion with your words, and try to be understanding and not just be like pushing out the sales right now for many reasons. A lot of people don't have money to spend right now. A lot of people are in precarious situations. So what I'm seeing is kind of the way of the island, which is supporting each other. And I'm seeing that in some excellent ways with businesses. This is Keir White, a client of mine down east. And I just wanted to point out this example because he was sharing something that Paul McNeil, who owns the Eastern Graphic, had put out about supporting businesses right now. And just encouraging people to reach out and buy local. There's a real movement for that now more than ever. So he's also done he's very well written, and to his credit, right from the very get-go, he came out with some really nice wording on Facebook to share with his clients, telling them to reach out, and he's there to help. So
it's nice when people can do that and just say, like, he's offered to help if somebody needs supplies and needs to have things dropped off. So rather than trying to sell something, he's saying, yeah, we're still here, we're following the protocols, and if you need any help with anything, please give us a call. So people remember that down the road. They'll remember that he was helpful and just putting himself out there.
Yeah, and he hasn't stopped marketing through this time. Like, we're in contact a lot, trying to figure out what his messaging is and what kind of services he can offer. And he started a list. Every business is different, but he's really been great at putting it out there that he's available as soon as he's able to work. And so as a result, he's probably got more business so far booked this year than he did last year, just because he's just really been doing a great job at marketing right now. Back to Jackson Naturals and Renee, I had suggested to her that maybe a campaign would be to offer selling her skincare, which is unscented. So it was really good for people working at hospitals. And so if you bought one, then she would donate one. If you bought one to donate, then she would match that donation. So she was able to put together quite a nice package to send to the hospitals a couple times now. And in return, the people at the hospital thanked her online and posted a picture. And they also, I guess they tagged The Guardian in it. And so The Guardian, I think just yesterday, they contacted her for an interview. So out of the goodness of her heart, she did it. And but it turned out to be quite good promotion for her. Debbie Brady in Tyne Valley, she is an artist. And so she's taken it upon herself to share her beautiful art during this time and using wording to tell people that she understands that it's a gloomy time. And so therefore she wants to try to share her art to cheer people up. And she's been really doing a great job and getting pretty amazing engagement because her art is really remarkable, in my opinion, but obviously in the opinion of a lot of other people that are just saying, wow, so beautiful, and so on and so forth. So right now she's planting seeds. Like a lot of people probably don't have a lot of disposable income right now to be buying big pieces of art, but same as other businesses, she's planting seeds and still marketing and putting herself out there.
Yeah, it keeps her top of mind, and she's not asking for anything. She's just sharing something that she wants people to help them cheer them up. So it's nice.
So this is similar to Renee's, and this is Willie Bevan from Ella's Forest down east, and he, out of the goodness of his heart, he has a neighbor who is a nurse in the COVID unit, which thankfully isn't being used right now, but at the hospital. So he talked to her and gave her a box of goodies, all of his blueberry products to send to the unit. And they were, again, very, very grateful. And he was a little bit like, he didn't know if he should post it or not. But I was like, if you're sending it to frontline heroes, it's a great thing. So people appreciate that. And this, lastly, this is Securement Family Farm, Krista Securement, sharing something about another company that is doing really nice things, Stir It Up. They're a vegan catering company, and like this is just a screenshot of a post they were doing about them feeding 50 families today. And so Krista said, please remember to support Stir It Up PEI when they open again. Like, these are, people are doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but we want to remember and support those people.
Yeah, so you just want to remember, you can still do marketing right now. You just have to be sensitive about it and think about, if you were receiving this email, what would you think? Because I think a lot of us got emails from every bank and every email list we'd ever signed up for, and some of those emails were kind of like, you know, who are you? And it didn't seem appropriate. But you also get ones like these examples that we've shown where people are being sensitive. So you just have to keep that in mind, and you can still keep going. You don't have to stop.
On PEI, there's a provincial fund right now for $2,500 for companies, businesses to access for help with messaging, marketing, and like in any way that their business has been affected. It's called the Adaptation Fund. So that's one.
Yeah, it's not just marketing. It could be anything. I think you know, if you need financial help or you need other financial help of someone with financial services or accounting or different types, any types of business, any types of services that can help you
adapt
move forward, adapt with what's happened with COVID-19. Yeah.
So this is, we kind of touched on it a few times about the importance of good content, and that'll make people kind of pay attention. So maybe a good strategy right now, if you have time, is to think about how you can use content to increase traffic to your website or your social media. One tool that is very popular and I personally use is Canva.com. It gives you templates to use in different sizes for whatever social media use that you need, for like a Facebook post or a Facebook cover, event page, Instagram. And then it gives, if you upload a picture of your own, or they have pictures as well, but it's always better to use your own and not stock images if you can avoid it. And then it's free, but then there's a paid version. I have a paid version. I think it's like $14 a month or something, and you get extra access to more photos to use. Leanne, you use something else.
Yeah, I have a similar one called Stencil that it's a Chrome extension, I think, that I use, and it does a similar thing. So you can take your photo and then you can put your words on it and move it around and have or your logo, whatever you want. So it's really good, and it comes in all the sizes for a post or for a header, so that you don't have to figure that all out yourself.
Yeah, that's really handy. But I put this slide in here because sometimes Facebook is known to change things on their website.
Awesome.
So yeah, I find this really helpful. In my presentation last year, for example, I had image size cheat sheet for 2019 because some of the dimensions changed, and sometimes Canva doesn't keep up with that. So, you know, if you're welcome to use these from our presentation, or you can Google it yourself. There's one for Facebook and there's one for Instagram. So in Canva, you can do custom dimensions for one of your designs. And so you would just plug in these dimensions for it, or you can use theirs. But if they're off, then you would go back and try to find the right dimensions. And also, I wanted to share this, that Canva has a blog where they have really great tips on how to make good content, winning content, visual brand identity, whatever you want to call it, graphic design. There's always use for a graphic designer. There's no two ways about that, but it's really handy if you can produce some good content yourself. And this is Securement Farm again, showing very good content. It got over 300 likes and went to over 5,000 people. And because it's a sandwich and they sell tomatoes.
No, they took this photo and put it there themselves. But I was saying to Maureen, it's still a great photo because it's got good contrast. If they'd had it on a dark plate or a pattern plate, but there's good contrast, and you see that big tomato there, and it catches your eye. So whenever anybody's scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, the first thing that's going to catch their eye is an image, your image. So you have to make sure that your image is quality and is eye-stopping. And then the second thing they'll look at is whatever title you have on it. And then if that piques their interest, the image and then the title, then they'll go on to read what you've written. So those are kind of the That's the order. So those are the things you have to think of, and the importance of your image can't be understated.
And I wanted to point out here too that they tagged the Charlottetown Farmers Market, who are very active on social media as well. And so that's another good thing to do. I know sometimes it can be tricky. Facebook, for some reason, makes it tricky to tag people sometimes. Have you ever had that experience, Leanne?
Yeah. You're trying to type in their name and it just doesn't work properly. Yeah. Their search isn't that great. But.
So all of this that we're talking about helps to build trust with clients, customers. Word of mouth. I always say social media is word of mouth on steroids. So it really helps to build trust and create fans. So this is another image that I've been using for a long time in my presentations, talking about the marketing funnel. The old marketing funnel was that you might be at a conference or pick up a brochure somewhere and it gives information, and then so you decide that you're interested in it, so that you go to their website and you read more about it. You might go further down the marketing funnel and do your due diligence, ask around about that product or company, see if anybody has had any experience. And so some people say that it takes between 5 and 10 times of hearing about a product or service before they're a bought and paid customer at the end of that marketing funnel. And so that's the old funnel. The new funnel is when the old marketing funnel is flipped over and the customer at the bottom of that funnel becomes a really happy promoter of your business. And they use the new funnel, the megaphone is flipped over, and that megaphone is filled with social media tools to be able to kind of extol your virtues of the product or business. So that's what you would ideally strive for, is to fill that funnel for them with really good content and make it very easy for those people to share about your business, your product or your service. So that's kind of something I learned from this fella named Seth Godin. He's known as the internet, the godfather of internet marketing. He's been around for a long time. And actually, I was just listening to a podcast, or it was actually an Instagram video that he was putting out just today. And so he's been around for a long time, doing really great stuff and writing a blog every day. And so you can find it at sethgodin.typepad.com. And so from his blog, he'll eventually take a bunch of his blog posts and put them into a book and publish a book. So I bought a book of his called The Purple Cow. And it was all about how you want to be remarkable. Just like if you were driving down a country road with your kids, and all of a sudden you looked over and you saw a purple cow, everybody, like, the brakes would go on, everybody would be like, what? Oh my God, and jump out of the car and take pictures and stuff. And because it's remarkable, it's worth remarking on. And so that's kind of the goal of your marketing. And so he has a free ebook called Flipping the Funnel that I think some people might enjoy. And therefore, I am sending people to the top of his funnel, where you might go down through it like I have, and then become a fan and share his information. But anyway, that's just a little way of how you can build trust with people. Another way is to find all the influencers on Instagram for your industry or for your product or for your service. Make a list and contact them, because they have great credibility with their followers. And there's different ways you can do this. You can, they can get a commission from their sales, or they can maybe they'll accept free products. But it's great for relationship building and really building trust with people and getting the word out. Another way, and I'm sharing a screenshot from my Facebook page, is to try to get reviews. You can get them like just restaurants, often people will just go online with it and leave a review, or sometimes you have to ask people. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing my consulting for 13 years. And so I really try to make sure or ask people to leave a review. And it's been really helpful for when people are doing their due diligence and going down that marketing funnel of people hearing your name between 5 and 10 times and making a decision. Some of it is like word of mouth, right? So if you have any reviews on your section, on your, your listing, your website, or your social media, then it can be very helpful.
I think I need to work on that. I ask people, but then I don't ask them again, and
yeah.
But it's very important because people don't want to hear what you have to say about how great you are. They want to hear what other people have to say about how great you are.
And I've had to ask. I've reminded people. Like, I don't harass people, I hope, but I people want to do it, but just they're
busy. Yeah, they're just busy.
But I remember quite a long time ago when I first was starting out and I was blogging, and I sent someone to my blog to try, because back then, like, people, it was like almost literally before it was called social media, and I was trying to tell and explain to people. So I remember sending someone to my website where it was actually a blog and asking them to just have a look. And then they contacted me the next day and they said that they had spent 1 or 2 hours on my website going through and liked the way I wrote and really liked the information that I was sharing. And in that time, they built trust and they were ready to book and confirm with me the next day because they had gone really quickly down that marketing funnel.
Wow. So like Maureen was talking about that, just go back to that one for a sec, Maureen. Talking about the funnel, and really it's the funnel still exists this way, and then you flip it. So especially in e-commerce, you get, there's like the top of funnel are the people who haven't heard of you before. So you want to attract them and let them know about you. And then the middle of the funnel are people who have touched your site before. They've been to your site, or they've been to your Facebook page, and they've interacted with you in some way. So they know about you. So you would want to give them different ads. And then the bottom of the funnel are the people that are almost close to buying. Maybe they've even put something in their shopping cart and not purchased it. And you want to give, again, different ads to them, depending, you want to say different things to them depending on where they are in the funnel. And then once people have purchased, if you have them on an email list, you can send out something to them asking them to leave you a review. And there you're flipping the funnel and creating that megaphone if they leave you a good review. And of course, through all this, you have to be offering good products and good services. Then they flip the funnel, and hopefully that'll help attract more people. So it all kind of flows together, but it works great for e-commerce for sure.
Next
one is
advertising.
Advertising, yes. So if are you adapting your advertising, and are you using advertising? And with online advertising, there are kind of different levels that you can do and different things. And Maureen, you talk about kind of what you do in your area of it, and we both work at kind of a different stage of it. So
yeah. It can be very basic. Well, I wouldn't say basic, but like you can do it right from a business page. So on the bottom left-hand side of a Facebook page, your business page, there's a button that says promote. And this is what comes up is Facebook is telling you, guiding you basically through running some ads. Now, I do recommend people be very careful because I've heard nightmare stories of not being able to turn off ads and that kind of thing. But certainly if you ever need help, that I've been running ads for many years, and so you can have different goals for your ads, whether you want to generate leads, if you want to get more messages. One of the neat things is that because Facebook actually owns Instagram, you can have your ads go onto Instagram. You can also link your account with Facebook and Instagram so that they're connected. So there's different ways, and so I've told companies like just starting out, if you can afford, well, hopefully you can afford $10 a week, $40 a month. This is a client in Nova Scotia and a realtor, and I think I mentioned this before, like when I run an ad, I always try to make sure that it has good engagement. If it's not doing well, I'll stop the ad and do a new one. So in this case, this one had over 10% engagement rate with the link clicks to the amount of people it reached for very little, $10 or $20. So it can be a really great way to generate leads, build your base, your fan base, kind of on your social media, and there's all kinds of ways to do ads. And Leanne runs ads at a kind of a higher level, and
yeah, when you're ready to scale your business and you want to get more involved with it, instead of running ads off directly from your Facebook page, there's a part of Facebook called Business Manager. We didn't put a screenshot in there. It's all just tables and charts and stuff like that. But there you have a pixel, so you can attach that to your ad and to your landing page. Usually we'll go to a landing page. Then we can retarget clients, and it's all about testing. And then as Maureen said, if things aren't running well, and that's why you do the testing, especially at the beginning. You put out several different ads and you compare them, and there are certain KPIs, so key performance indicators, so you want to keep them within, like she said, 10% their engagement, and then there's a certain percentage of your reach that you want to click on your ad, that you want to go to your landing page, and how many of those are doing the things that you direct them to do. So there's quite a lot to it, but if you want to scale your business, you really have to get into it at a higher level.
And I think it's worth mentioning that it's almost worth doing no matter what as a business, because unfortunately Facebook has made it so that they've clawed back viewership, so that they almost make you pay to get your message out there, unless you're at a really high level. But and certainly it depends on what platform that you want to use. Like it could be like if you have an Instagrammable business, then you want to pour your resources into Instagram and running ads on Instagram. But there's certainly a business case for using Facebook and Facebook ads. It depends on who your target audience is and what the demographic of that audience is.
Yeah. And it depends what your business is. I mean, if your business is a service or business that somebody's going to go into Google and search for, then you definitely want to be doing Google ads, and Facebook ads might not work as well, or sometimes you'll want to do both. But Facebook is ideal for if you know your target market and who your audience is, you can do really detailed targeting on Facebook. So you can be sending your ad, if it's a dog product, you can just be sending your ads to people of a certain age that live in a certain area and are interested in dogs, so that you're not just sending it to, you're not sending it to cat people. So it's got really powerful targeting abilities. So to wrap things up, we really want to know how you are adapting and how your business is adapting, and we want to help. So if you've seen anything in here, you might have some questions that you want to ask us. Feel free to set up a call with us and ask us some questions. But Maureen and I want to help people here, help local people just move forward and pivot and adapt in whatever way they can. So we're offering you a free 1-hour call with us, no strings attached. We just want to help people, help businesses in PEI. And the way that you can access a meeting with us is basically we'll give you access to our calendar, and you can go set it up. If you go to this link, https://go.oncehub.com/adapt-your-marketing. So if you go there, like I said, we'd love to meet with you, help you out, and help you be better prepared and for what's happening now, and then be better prepared for whatever the market throws at you in the future.
Yeah, and maybe some of that help can be some suggestions for some of the funding that's out there. I've been working for the CBDC, running their social media for over 5 years now, so I'm quite familiar with a lot of their funding programs, and there's also a lot of provincial help right now for businesses. So if there's, like Leanne said, if there's anything that we can help you with, please give us a call. Those are both of our Facebook pages. You can find us on Facebook, but ideally you would just go right to the schedule to book a call if you'd like. No strings attached. And
we look forward to meeting somebody.
Yeah, thanks again to CBDC for putting this out to people through social media. And good luck, everyone.
Bye.